Part 45.05, Surah Al-Jathiyah, the kneeling, the deification of desire, and the illusion of materialism. As-salamu Alaykum. Welcome back to Sufi Essence with Hammad Syed. In our previous session, we explored the legacy of Israel and the divine stream of the Sharia. We saw how mutual envy can corrupt even the clearest knowledge and how the Sharia serves as the path to the watering hole for the parched soul. Today, we enter a profound psychological and metaphysical arena, verses 21 through 25. In this movement, Allah addresses the moral equivalence, fallacy, the idea that the righteous and the wicked will share the same fate. We will analyze the terrifying reality of the God of desire, explore the materialist philosophy of those who believe only in time, and deconstruct the weakness of doubt when faced with the day of gathering. Welcome back to the Surah Al-Jathiyah Masterclass. In this session, we will examine the symmetry of justice, analyzing why it is evil judgment to assume that life and death are the same for the believer and the criminal. We will explore the creation and truth, reflecting on how the heavens and the earth are designed to ensure no soul is wronged. We will deconstruct the psychology of the ego god, analyzing the verse that describes taking one's own desire as a deity. Finally, we will reflect on the fallacy of Desire, exploring the arguments of those who say nothing destroys us but time, and the empty challenge they pose regarding their ancestors. This is a journey from material blindness to spiritual accountability. Verse 21, the fallacy of equality, As-salamu Quran. Surah Al-Jathiyah, the kneeling, chapter 45, verse 21. Do those who commit evil deeds think that we shall make them like those who believe and do good deeds, so that their life and their death shall be equal? Evil is the judgment they make. Hazzabal Adinatar and Najalahum Kaladina Amanu wa Amal Salahati Sawa Amahayahum wa Mamadahum, Saa Mayakaman. Do those who earn/commit evil think that we will treat them like those who believe and do good, equal in their life and death? Evil is what they judge. This verse shatters the moral illusion. In this Sufi essence, the criminal, mujrim, and the righteous, sali, exist in two different realities. They are not equal in life, maya, because the believer has peace while the criminal has anxiety. They are not equal in death, mamut, because one meets his Lord and the other meets his works. To suggest they are the same is a sa'e mayakaman, a vile judgment that insults the wisdom of Allah. Verse 22, the purposeful design. As-salamu Quran. Surah Al-Jathiyah, the kneeling, chapter 45, verse 22. And Allah has created the heavens and the earth with truth, and so that every soul may be recompensed for what it has earned, and they shall not be wronged. Wa kalakalaha samawati walarda bilhak, walatuja kulu nafsim by makasabat, wa hum la yudlaman. And Allah created the heavens and the earth in truth, and so that every soul may be rewarded for what it earned, and they will not be wronged. The universe is a precision instrument of justice. In the Sufi perspective, the heavens and the earth were not created for play, but bilhak, in truth. This truth requires that there be a result for every action. The vast cosmos exists to provide the theater where the soul is tested. The kula nafsim, every soul, is an individual unit of accountability. Allah ensures that the earnings, kasabat, are calculated with zero margin of error. Verse 23, the deity of the self. As-salamu Quran. Surah Al-Jathiyah, the kneeling, chapter 45, verse 23. Have you seen him who has taken his own desire as his God, and Allah let him go astray despite his knowledge, and set a seal upon his hearing and his heart, and put a covering on his sight? So who will guide him after Allah? Do you not then take heed? Afraida minidakata ilahu hawahu wa dalahalahu Allah ilman wa kadama, Allah samachai, wa kalbihi wa ja'ala, Allah basari gishawa, famayadihi mimbi adilla, afalatat hakaran. Have you seen the one who takes his desire as his God? This is the root of all misguidance. In this Sufi essence, the ilah, God, is that which you obey and turn to for fulfillment. If your Hawā, desire, dictates your life, then your desire is your God. This person may have knowledge, ilm, but it is dead knowledge. Allah responds to this self-deification by sealing the senses. When you choose this small self over the supreme self, the eye of the heart, Basira, is covered with a Gishwa veil. Verse 24, the Materialist Creed. As-salamu Quran. Surah Al-Jathiyah, the Kneeling, chapter 45, verse 24. And they say, there is nothing but our life of this world. We die and we live, and nothing destroys us except time. And they have no knowledge of that. They only follow conjecture. Wa kalama haya illa hayatunadunya namutu wa naya wama yulikuna illadar. Wama layam bid halaka min ilmin in hum illa yadhanan. And they say, it is only our worldly life. We die and live, and nothing destroys us but time dar. This is the philosophy of dar. The materialist denies the vertical dimension. To them, life is a biological accident, and death is merely the entropy of time. In this Sufi essence, dar is the horizontal flow of minutes and years. By saying nothing destroys us but time, they are trying to evade the Creator. Allah dismisses this entire worldview as conjecture / guesswork. They have zero knowledge, ma layam min ilmin, of the unseen reality. Verse 25, the empty challenge. As-salamu Quran. Surah Al-Jathiyah, the Kneeling, chapter 45, verse 25. And when our clear verses are recited to them, their only argument is to say, bring back our forefathers, if you are truthful. Wa'ida tutla alayhim ayatuna bayanata makana hujatahum illa and kalatu bi'aina in kuntum sadikin. And when our clear verses are recited to them, their only argument / excuse is, bring our fathers back. The scoffers demand a physical miracle to avoid spiritual truth. When the bayanat, clear verses, are recited, they don't engage with the logic, they engage in deflection. In the Sufi perspective, they are asking for a resurrection on demand to prove the resurrection of decree. They want to see their forefathers as a sign, ignoring the signs in the heavens and the earth, verse 3-5. Their hujjah, argument, is not a search for truth, but a symptom of the sealed heart, extending the philosophical excavation, the God of the mirror and the prison of time. In this fifth movement of Surah Al-Jathiyah, we must confront the theology of the ego. Verse 23 presents the most dangerous idol in human history, the Hawā, desire. In Sufi thought, this is the internal shirk. Most people think of idolatry as bowing to stone statues, but the Quran points to the mirror. When a person takes their desire as their ilah, they make their whims the sovereign command. This leads to a terrifying spiritual state. Adalahallahu Allah ilman. Allah lets him go astray despite his knowledge. This teaches us that data is not guidance. You can be a scholar of the book, but if you are a slave to your desire, your knowledge will only help you rationalize your lies. This is the afak, sinful liar, we met in verse 7. Because they enthrone the self, Allah seals the hearing and the heart. In the Sufi essence, the heart is the antenna of the divine. When it is sealed, it can no longer receive the tanzil. The Gishwa, covering on the sight, is the veil of materialism. They see the tree, but they cannot see the creator of the tree. The materialist delusion, in verse 24, is the cult of dar, time. The statement, nothing destroys us but time, is an attempt to naturalize the supernatural. By attributing death to time rather than the giver of death, they remove the moral weight of existence. In the Sufi perspective, time is merely a subjected servant, from verse 13. It is not a creator or a destroyer. To believe in dar is to live in a two-dimensional world. You see birth and death, but you do not see the source and the return, turhan. Allah calls this yadhanan, conjecture. It is a guess disguised as science. It is the smoke that blinds the intellect, akal. Verse 21 addresses the crisis of moral chaos. If the believer and the criminal were equal in life and death, the universe would be irrational. In Sufi thought, the symmetry of the afterlife is what gives meaning to the present. The evil deeds, sayyat, that they earned, kasabat, create a density in the soul. The good deeds, salahat, create a luminosity. To suggest that density and luminosity result in the same destination is to deny the truth, mentioned in verse 22. Allah created the cosmos bil precisely so that no soul is wronged. Justice is not an afterthought. It is the DNA of the universe. The empty challenge in verse 25, bring back our forefathers, is the arrogance of the empirical. The scoffers refuse to reason with the signs already present. They want a personal show. In this Sufi essence, the resurrection is not a magic trick for the entertainment of the ego. It is a sovereign decree for the recompense of the soul. By asking for their forefathers, they are trying to command Allah. They treat the verses as a debate to be won rather than a light to be followed. This is the mockery, Hawā, we saw in verse 9. Reflect on the triple seal of verse 23. Seal on hearing, sam'ai, the inability to absorb the word. Seal on the heart, qalbihi, the inability to feel the presence. Covering on sight, basarihi, the inability to see the signs. In Sufi practice, we strive to unseal these. We use dhikr, remembrance, to polishing the heart. But for the one who takes desire as God, the polishing is impossible because they are adding rust every moment. They are addicted to the self. This is the true slavery. The Sharia, from verse 18, was the key to these seals, but they rejected the key to follow the smoke. The creation in truth, bil in verse 22, is the antidote to materialism. If the world were random or accidental, then justice would be a human invention. But because it is created bil justice is a cosmic law. In the Sufi perspective, means that which is stable and real. Everything in the heavens and the earth is calibrated to ensure that your earnings, kasabat, are met with the exact response. The sun and the moon are witnesses to this calibration. The phrase sawa amahayahum wamamatahum, equal in their life and death, is a profound spiritual diagnosis. The believer lives in remembrance and dies in return. The criminal lives in distraction and dies in regret. These two states are as different as light and shadow. Even in the world, the life of a God-conscious soul is filled with a sweetness, Hawā, that the lover of desire can never taste. The death of a believer is a bridge, jizr. The death of the materialist is a wall. To call them equal is the ultimate evil judgment. Furthermore, the God of desire explains the irrationality of denial. Why does a person see the signs of Allah and still deny? Because the desire, Hawā, demands autonomy. The ego does not want a Lord. It wants to be the Lord. This is why Allah asks, who will guide him after Allah? If you have rejected this source of guidance to worship yourself, there is no second source. You have exited the map. You are lost in the smoke of your own reflection. The conjecture, Dan, of verse 24 is the foundation of modern nihilism. The idea that we die and we live is the circular logic of the materialist. They see the cycle of biology and assume there is no linear journey to the gathering. In this Sufi essence, the materialist is like a man in a room who denies the building exists because he can only see the four walls. The Quran is the window that reveals the building, but the worshipper of desire keeps the curtains closed. The clear verses, ayatuna bayinatin, are the flashlights of reality. When they are recited, they expose the conjecture. The scoffers feel the heat of the truth and react with the ancestors' argument. This is a psychological diversion. They know they cannot disprove the signs of the heavens, so they try to stall by asking for the resurrection of the forefathers. It is the procrastination of the soul. Finally, Surah Al-Jathiyah is a trial of the heart. It asks us, who is your ilah? Is it the mighty and wise, or is it the fickle desire in your chest? Is your life a preparation for the return, or is it a dance with time? The people of certainty, yukinan, are those who have exchanged the desire for the divine command. They kneel now, so they don't have to kneel in terror later. As we move forward, let us guard our hearing and our sight. Let us not let the smoke of conjecture seal our hearts. The day of gathering is not a guess. It is a hack, truth, guaranteed by the very creation of the heavens and the earth. We wait for the return, knowing that life and death are the pages on which we write our destiny. All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds. We have explored the deity of desire and the fallacy of equality. In our next session, we will see the final gathering, how Allah brings the dead to life, and the moment of the kneeling nations. Hadith, the messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, said, "The most hated God worshipped on the face of the earth, in the sight of Allah, is the desire, Hawā." Tabarani. This hadith is the ultimate footnote to verse 23. It explains why self-worship is more dangerous than idol worship. An idol is external, but desire is internal. It is the invisible master that leads a person to evil judgment and materialist conjecture. It underscores that true freedom is freedom from the ego. Dua, O Allah, the mighty and the wise, we seek refuge in you from the God of desire and the smoke of conjecture. O Al-Haq, cleanse our hearts from the false equality of the scoffers and let us earn the luminosity of the righteous. O Al-Fata, unseal our hearing and our hearts, and remove the covering from our sight, so that we may see your signs with certainty. O Al-Mahai, give life to our spirits through your verses and protect us from the materialism of Dar. Let our life and our death be subjugated to your command and not to our whims. O Al-Jami, on the day of gathering, let us be among those who return to this secure station in honor. Clear the lies of the ego from our souls and fill us with the pure water of the Sharia. All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds. Ameen.